You're watching Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Our guest is Dr. Jeff Schweitzer. He is a scientist and author of an upcoming book that's called Beyond Cosmic Dice, and I thank you for joining us.
I'm delighted to be here.
You are specializing in the area of global warming.
Correct.
I want to ask you about whether global warming is a conclusive phenomenon or is it something that is more theory?
There's nothing theoretical about it. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change concluded with a consensus of 600 scientists from 166 countries that climate change is real and caused by human activity. It's unambiguous.
Well, what would you say to those that would argue, no, it's a theory? I mean, there's no proof of it.
Well, if you don't believe in climate change, if you don't believe the scientists, then you would have to be a professional meteorologist, because this is a consensus of people who spend their lives studying climate and climatology. If you don't accept climate change, then you would also not accept DNA, black holes, atoms, or any other conclusion that scientists bring to society.
Do you feel as if the Bush administration is doing enough to combat climate change?
The Bush administration is doing absolutely nothing to combat climate change. We walked away from the Kyoto Protocol.
Which did what?
It was the international treaty in which the world agreed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We are stifling our own scientists, not enabling them to even discuss climate change in international meetings. We delete language from scientific reports from the EPA and USDA that even mention climate change. So not only is the Bush administration not doing anything about climate change, they're actually suppressing efforts to do something about it.
Is the problem that Detroit is too powerful or Texas oil is too powerful? Why is this happening in your view?
There are many reasons contributing to the Bush administration's reluctance to attack climate change, but one of them is their attack on reason itself. The Bush administration has demonstrated an antipathy towards science and scientific inquiry, and I think this is just another consequence of that.
Why is attacking climate change important? Is it a moral imperative? Is it an economic imperative? What's your view?
Well, it's a great question because it's all of the above. We certainly have a moral imperative to do something about it, because I believe we can do and should do better with the resources that we've inherited and then pass on to our children and ancestors and progeny. We are not doing well with the environment right now. We are destroying tropical forests at thousands of acres per day. We're destroying habitat, destroying critical habitat which protects biological diversity. We can do better. We should do better, and we have the resources to do better.
What would you say to someone that says, oh, Dr. Schweitzer, you're just a tree hugger. Come on. I mean, this is just hogwash.
Well, I think there are real economic consequences, and I think you can appeal to our economic sense to do something about the environment as well. History has shown that taking action to protect the environment is actually economically sound. When we took lead out of gasoline in the 70s, there was a hue and cry that this was going to destroy the economy, that gas stations were going to go out of business. Nothing like that took place, and now we have almost lead-free air.
What do you think about hybrid vehicles? I bought one.
I bought one too, and I think they are part of the solution. I think we all have to take a number of small collective actions which cumulatively will have a global impact. Doing things like buying hybrids is an important step, but not the only step.
Was Hurricane Katrina a result of global warming?
Climatologists are reluctant to assign any one storm to a cause of climate change, but the answer is probably yes. What we see with climate change is an increase in the frequency and intensity of storms. In 2005, there were an unprecedented 27 named storms. 15 were hurricane, and 4 of those were Category 5. That's the kind of signature of climate change that we expect to see.
Now, I understand insurance companies are taking steps to prevent catastrophic losses from another Hurricane Katrina. Does that say anything to you about their view of climate change?
Yes, it does. And in fact, the insurance companies are trying to protect themselves from something which they believe is real, and that is a sea level rise. And with sea level rise, you're going to have massive damages along the coast. California itself has 900 miles of coastline. It's vulnerable to sea level rise.
Dr. Jeff Schweitzer, we thank you so much for joining us and for your work on behalf of the environment.
Pleasure to be here.
For Local Edition, my name is Brad Pomerance.